Hi everybody, this is Jerry Dean from Missing Persons of America. I'm going to go over the Summer Wells case. I'm going to tell you the updates I found today. And today is Wednesday, June 23rd. And I also found out the name of the person that was in the house with Candace, the man. Coming up in a second. So if you remember yesterday, I was talking about Christopher Marcos, and A Balance brought the name up to everybody's attention because he was doing the research and he's finding information that points to Marcos being at Summer Wells' house. So I spoke to AB and he told me that he was still working on where Marcos was living, but he does know he was in Grantsburg in 2009 and he actually lived near where Rosemarie Bly's car was found. And for a reminder, Rosemarie Bly is Summer's aunt that went missing back in 2009 from Wisconsin. Now, I did a little research and I found that Christopher was living in Baldwin in 2014, and that he also shows he was worked for County Cruisers, but I'm not sure of those dates, and this needs more information. And also you'll see this popping up. It shows the possible current residence for 110 Ben Hill Row, where Summer's house is, and it shows Candace Bly, Donald Wells, and Christopher Marcos at that residence. Now, this is, we don't know how I'm sure this is an absolute, this came from the internet, but I want to bring it up because a lot of people are talking about it, and I thought I'd like to do some clarification. So I'm bringing this up because there are a lot of people talking about it, and I wanted to let you know that this is still being worked on, and AB is working on it now, trying to get the factual information. Now, note that just because I find this piece of paper that shows Christopher Marcos on the internet and linked with that address doesn't mean it's absolute true. It comes from the internet, and this is circumstantial at best. It doesn't mean he's guilty of anything. So I wanted to point that out to you. And also I wanted to tell you that Rosemarie Bly's husband, Christopher, is getting mixed up with the other Christopher. And so when you're reading information on social media, make sure you're clear on which Christopher they're talking about. Christopher, as far as I know, is still living in Wisconsin, and he took a polygraph, and that he was found not to be lying about knowing anything about Rosemarie Bly's disappearance. And that's where that stands at this time. So Christopher Larson and Christopher Marcos are not the same person. So you know that for now. All right. So I also, this is another big piece of information came out. Now, Don came out and he said today that his wife, Candace, took a lie detector test and she was cleared. So listen to this.
Well, my wife was just left the district attorney's office with the FBI, and she passed her lie detector test, and then they told her to hurry down to the command center because they just got a tip, so we're freaking out right now.
Now, for a lot of you, this is not going to change your mind about Candace. A lot of people believe Candace has something to do with Summer's disappearance, and many of you will say, hey, it's not even admissible in court, so what do we care about the polygraph test? I realize that. I found it really interesting, and I did a lot of research on polygraph tests, and if you like to read some more about it and learn about what inconclusive means and how somebody could pass a test, if you want to know some background on it, go to missingpersonsofamerica.com's website and click on the article and of Summer Wells for today, and it'll give you a link, and you can go over there and take a look at it, or you can just put the search in for polygraph in the website, and it'll take you to that article that I wrote several years ago, but I still refer back to it quite a bit because it makes me understand why some people will pass and some people won't, and If it's absolute, if they don't pass, does that mean they're absolutely guilty? You'll be surprised to find the answer to that one. Now, I'm also hearing a lot of more stories about what Candace was doing when Summer went missing, and there's a lot more being added to that story. And I wanted to go back and point out to you that as far as we know, absolute is what Dawn is saying.
When her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
Right? If there's anything more to that, unless it's coming from Dawn, and we know Dawn wasn't there when this was going on, so he's getting this from Candace, and he's getting it from Candace's mother that also lives there. So this is how it was told to him, and this is the truth as he knows it, and he's relaying it on these interviews. And as I said, Summer Wells' grandmother, she lives on a trailer on the property. And we know that because Candace filled out a police report and she mentioned her mother living there on a trailer on the property. So Don was, on one of the interviews, was asked about his past, and he stated he didn't want to talk about, quote, all that stuff. And it's like he said he had several charges over the years, and it's almost like he was going to say something about that, and then he stopped himself, and he said he just didn't want to elaborate. So there is no more on that. But he did say he's found God in prison, and he started studying the Bible, and that's where he's at now. He's faith-based. All right. Now, yesterday I talked about the searchers, and I was hoping they would go back and start at the beginning and do the search again. And I heard today that they have covered 4.6 square miles, almost 5 miles, looking for Summer. And there's still nothing. There's no clues. There's nothing left behind. Nothing. So I just read a media report that they were planning on bringing in a fresh crew and going to specialized areas to do a search. So we'll see how that goes. And just before I did this video, I saw that there was activity over by the lake. Now, I've heard that the lake that Summer was at was called the Warrior Path Park and Warrior Lake, and that was where she's at. Well, this police activity that's going on right now is over at that lake that she was swimming at. It's called the Warriors Path State Park. And I don't know what's going on over there. I'm just seeing some Facebook posts that there's activity over there, and we've had activity before, like the helicopter that circled the house about 2 or 3 nights ago. And then there was another happened to do with a fence or boundary line across the field. There was a lot of activity over there, and now we're at Warriors Path State Park. So it may have something to do with this new specialized searching they were talking about doing earlier this morning, or it might have to do something with a tip. Remember, Dawn earlier said that there was a tip that had come in and that Candace was going over there to see about that tip. So it could be that too. We don't know. So I needed to cut back in here because I forgot to tell you something. And so I decided to grab Wiggles so you could see him. But remember, earlier I was saying, when I did the break in the intro, that I knew the name of the person that was in the house. So if you remember back in October 2020, there was that domestic dispute, and thank you, honey. And Don had gone into the house and he saw a man there with Candace, and he got jealous and they had that big argument. Well, and he ended up being arrested. Well, I found out what the guy's name was. It was in the police report, and his name is Jose Ramon or Raymond. Doesn't have an E on the end of it. So now we know that was not Marcos that was in the house, that it was an entirely different person that was in there. And please don't throw the name around and think he's got anything to do with Summer or anything like that. He just happened to be the guy that was in the house, and his name was on the police report. All right, thank you so much for following me and subscribing. I really, really do appreciate it. And I'll keep updating you on this case as new information comes in. And that's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.